Welcome back to a brand new Creative Encounter podcast episode. I'm your host, Juiette Z Payne, and you guys are back for episode 76 of this podcast. Hope you guys are having a great time if you are a recurring subscriber. But if you are not, if this is your first time, go ahead and subscribe and hit the like button and follow and do all that awesome stuff on all the platforms so you don't miss any future episodes, okay? Now, episode 76, this is my guy, y'all. This is my homie from years and years. This is Luke Turley. What's going on, Luke?
What's up, man? I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir. How you feeling?
I feel great.
Yes, sir. So we've been trying to plan this for months. Like, we've texted each other a few times, like, bro, I gotta get you on this podcast. I think we were, like back in January, even a little bit before that, but January we were together, like, okay, maybe we could do it now. And now we finally, the school year is over.
Like life. You have 3 kids. Yeah. I have 3 kids.
3 kids, man.
Doing ministry,
Dude, now I knew you before you even had kids. I knew you before you even knew your wife.
Yeah.
So I've
sure.
known Luke before. Sorry,
For
Trish.
sure.
You know. Yeah, man. But let me tell you guys about Luke. So Luke is a creative. If you guys go to some of my music videos on Juiette Z Payne Music on YouTube, Luke has recorded a few of those videos, and he just does such a great job. So he does videography, photography as well. Yeah, photography. But he is also a minister with the ministry I was a part of, Chicago Chi Alpha, when I was in college. And Luke is still, so like I get this like nostalgia whenever I get to connect back with Chi Alpha, man. So how was the school year? Talking about that specifically, doing ministry on campus. How was that?
This year was awesome. Yeah. I mean, I feel like the there's like all the stuff that the like specifics of what happened, but then there's like the internal journey that you take. Yeah. And this year's internal journey that I took was very beautiful, and I was even like writing in my journal this morning, just like, God, thank you, because it's the very end of the school year. It's like just happening now for the college campuses. Yeah. And I was just reflecting on like, man, God, I'm so thankful that the way that you brought me closer to you, because that's kind of where it's at, you know?
Hallelujah.
So
man, it's awesome because it's showing that, you know, at the end of the year, sometimes we're like, okay, I want to relax. I need a break. But right before this, you were saying like, man, I want to keep sewing. You know, in the summer, like let's keep this going, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
That's absolutely amazing.
Don't want to stop.
Yeah, yes, sir. I love it. That's
no,
good.
I feel like, I mean, I don't know. This gets into the whole like territory of like pace and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I'm right now, at least in life, I'm kind of hitting a nice rhythm and flow where I'm not feeling like, not that I'm not feeling burnt out, but I'm not feeling like I'm even close to burning out. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I'm just feeling like I'm in the pocket, if you will. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I want to feel tired at the end of a day or whatever, but I don't want to feel like I don't know how much I have left.
Right,
I feel like I got plenty left.
Let's go. I love how you said in the pocket, you know, because aren't you a drummer too?
Yeah.
So Luke, singer, musician, guitar, worship leader, all of that stuff.
I can't believe you pulled out drums because like
that was the first thing I heard. Like in the pocket, I
haven't played drums since youth group.
That's how you know I've known you since you were like about 12 or something.
I was there.
I was there, man. No, that's hilarious. Yeah, dude. So let's go back to just the years when you were in school, right? So you were in school, you went to Loyola.
Yes, sir.
And that's the school that you served at too? That's awesome, bro. So, you know, being at Loyola, what did you come as your goals and your career ambitions, you know?
I mean, I to be honest, like I kind of knew going into school, I want to do ministry.
Oh,
like
no,
I want to,
okay.
So I'm like a little context. I'm a missionary kid. My parents did ministry, and we'll have to get into this in a second. But like my parents, it's really wild. My parents did student ministry when I was like my most formative years.
No way.
Kind of, like middle school, high school. They were doing campus ministry in Europe, in Brussels, Belgium. Yeah. And but before that,
that's where you're from.
Yeah, well, that question of where, I don't know.
Or that's where you
where
I'm
grew
from.
Up. Yeah, where I'm from is not the most simple. I feel like I don't have a great answer, but yes, I have. I grew up in Brussels, and I was born in Kentucky, but almost my whole childhood was in Belgium. Wow. But my parents did media ministry before that, and so they were doing like I grew up with this kind of where it was like. They were helping with like Christian radio and television, and so like we always had cameras around the house. We had Windows Movie Maker.
Yeah,
you know,
oh, you
all,
were like that, yes, sir.
I remember like people of our generation will previous will appreciate this. Although to the older generations, like I know we don't understand your pain, but like capturing video. You remember doing that? Like you would like record on the camera, and then you had to plug the camera into the laptop. And like play the video to get the video into your computer.
Oh wow! I think I remember that a little bit.
Okay, maybe, it was like I remember being like 9 years old. And like making videos at home.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So there was just always. But you asked a question that I went on a rabbit trail. So I just always. Yeah, I came to Loyola. I ended up studying film there, film and communication studies. But I just always knew, like, God has a call on my life. I mean, God has a call on everybody's life, but to do full-time, like, vocational ministry. And but I just didn't know where or what. And so it was kind of over the course of getting involved in this campus ministry, Chi Alpha, experiencing, like, deep discipleship for the first time in my life. And I fell in love with Chicago. I was like, hey, this, you get a burden for where you live, and you start to love where you live, and so then I ended up doing campus ministry after I graduated, and I'm still doing it today.
That's awesome. I love it. That's so great, man. That's so cool. Yeah, bro. I remember when I found out that you were doing video and photography, I was like, I gotta hit you up. So you did my video, Show Love. You did Aiden, you did Aiden song music video, and then we did another here in the studio at one point. And man, you've just been such a blessing in that realm, dude. So I really appreciate it. Yes, sir. Yeah. Now tell me, as far as doing the artistic side. Now you just told me because I never knew that. I never knew that your parents were into that. So that's how you were kind of always around it and stuff. How was it when you got to the point where you're like, wow, I'm about to do this vocationally, and then also doing the creative side of things too, because that can be a little tricky. That's something on this podcast we want to share with people, that dichotomy of just like there's this side of things that you can do ministry on, and you can also do ministry out in the marketplace with whatever your artistic gifting is. So did you feel like you had to relinquish some things, or were you able to hybrid them together? How was that season?
That's a great question, and I kind of like I feel like that really hits on like some of the dilemmas, or just like confusion that I've like walked through and stuff, because people always, this is the first thing they ask me, is they're like, oh, you studied film, that's crazy, oh, now you're like a pastor, and they're like, oh, do you ever use what you studied? It's like the question I always get, and I'm like, like you would be surprised because like doing ministry, I don't know, to me I feel like it's so I don't know, I might answer your question with a shotgun answer of like a bunch of different kind of answers, if that's cool. I feel like people would be surprised how much like doing ministry, having creative skills in any ministry, like it's 2024, ministry, or really almost anything you're doing, requires some form of like engagement on social media, or sometimes it's like storytelling, like just being accessible to people. You need design, like, so like things that and then also in church spaces, it's like worship always service, like church services and worship services involve tons of creative endeavors. So I feel like I definitely feel like definitely like I don't know about master of none probably, but like I definitely feel like a bit of a jack of all trades, where it's like, if you need video stuff, sound stuff, lead worship, play an instrument or whatever, do graphic design, get the slides set up, set up the sound system, all of those type of like things. It's so like, it's really funny because I will say that like there is a bit of a sacrifice element, but like I'm honestly like don't seek out creative endeavors, but then I like look back and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm constantly like doing something creative, because I don't really think of myself as you're not like thinking that you're actually creative.
You're just in the flow of whatever the need is at that time.
Like there was times where I was doing a ton of video stuff because we needed a lot of, and when I say video stuff, I mean like DSLR, and then I'm doing some type of like recap video of a retreat or something, or freelance stuff. Like you're reaching out other people. And then there's been times where it's like I'm leading like kids church worship at our church, you know.
Exactly.
And then like now it's so funny. I've gone, I don't know if you've ever like experienced this or talked with people who experienced this. It's like now I'm just shooting almost everything vertical on my phone if I can. And I'm doing stuff on Canva instead of Photoshop. So I'm like, it's just quicker, it's easier, it's faster, and it's fitting the need of what I'm trying to do. So now it's like we're not showing a lot of videos in landscape. It's like I'm just needing to create more stuff on social media. So now I'm just like doing a lot of reels and stuff. But it's just it's just funny how having all this creative kind of like ability, I guess, I feel like it's like you will use it. You will use it,
exactly.
But
exactly. And I feel like that's part of the issue that a lot of people have is we try and put God in this box or what our calling is in this box. Like, I should be doing the one thing. I was talking about this last week. We focus on, I should be doing the one thing. Where'd that come from? Do we see that anywhere in Scripture, honestly? Where it's like God is like...
Psalm 27, probably, like, one thing I ask the Lord that I may dwell in the house of the Lord.
Yeah,
but that...
but
that's about just having your focus on Jesus.
Yeah, your focus on Jesus, which should just be the main thing. But then even with that, He's endless. Even as we're speaking right now, the universe is ever expanding. It just can't stop. There's no boundaries or markers or where it ends or anything like that. It just keeps going. It's insane. So with that, it's the idea of like God is endless as well. So anything that He put in you, He's ready and He wants you to be able to use it, so we should be able to just be free to, whether it's vocationally, whether it's doing media, sound, tech, whatever it is, be able to just be ready in all seasons. Like he says, be ready in season and out of season.
Absolutely.
So,
it's funny. Like I a couple years ago, I did a lot of worship and we led worship together.
Yes,
actually, that was the first time that I met you. You were leading from the bass. I was like,
dude.
this guy's so bold, leading worship on a bass.
No, literally at that time, I think it was just bass and we had keys. That was all we had on the Kyle team. And maybe somebody was on a cajon or a djembe or something, but that's all we had.
That's probably why I got tapped to play guitar, even though I can play drums. You guys tapped me for guitar
because I was playing bass before I started playing guitar.
And
then around like 2012ish is when I started playing guitar. It's so crazy, but yeah, dude.
So I was doing a lot of worship stuff, and in college did a ton of worship, and then even over the years, like in Chi Alpha, was doing worship stuff, and then it kind of like other people were filling the spots that I was normally filling, and I was like, this is great, and I was kind of like, I don't know. I'm not. I don't see myself as like a worship leader guy. You know what I mean? Like I'm just kind of like I'm me, and I've done that. If you want me to do that, I'm happy to do it. And I was kind of like, I'm good. I'll just like put the guitar away. I don't need. And then a couple years ago, it was like ramp up, and everyone was like, whether it was like churches would reach out and be like, we need somebody to fill in, or like the conference that we did when it's ramped up, and then it's like I thought I was done leading worship like for the most part, just in general, and then now we're here like leading thousands, like 1,000 people or church, different
Dude,
things.
even just talking about that, bro, just sitting right there, just the opportunity to usher people into God's presence, God, into God's presence at SALT. And SALT is the Student Active Leadership Training. So that's the annual conference that we have with Chicago Chi Alpha. And it's actually Great Lakes. It's all over. It's nationwide, Chi Alpha campus ministry. And so we've been able to lead together at SALT, and it's been phenomenal. Just seeing all those students just on fire. And you remember the days when we were in it. And I remember those days and just, man, this was the highlight of the year, man. It was so much fun. Wow.
And another thing on worship is recently we're part of, so I don't even know if we've talked about this. A couple years ago we started praying for someone to plant a church near Loyola so that someone we could really like partner with. Yeah. And so like long story short, God has a way of answering prayers as he does. Of course. It's like we started praying and basically like we're part of a church plant now, right?
Now I remember because when I was fellowshipping at Belmont, we saw each other.
Yeah.
Because
there's a partnership. Yeah. We're planting, and there's kind of like a partnership through Belmont Assembly of God. Yep. but now, so we're a bilingual church, so I'm learning.
I'm Spanish. There we go. Okay.
I'm getting. I have like a foundation, but I have a lot more to go.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you this: my singing is better than my speaking because I'm the worship leader, and I'm leading in English and Spanish.
There you go. So that's why we're doing some Spanish joints and song, right?
Yeah. And so it's just funny. Again, like I thought kind of like I've put this away, but it comes back, and then now I'm in a place where it's like not only back, but it's like I'm being relied upon to be like the primary worship leader right now for this church plant, and I'm being stretched because I'm leading in a language I mean
God will never have us just sit there. It's always gonna be some stretching and some kind of way.
I was like, I wonder what the next okay
there it is.
Got it.
Cool. Then you're gonna be learning, Mandarin next.
Yeah. Oh yeah. How did you know? Yeah.
Okay, so now those are only two sectors that we've talked about. So we talked about the creativity, we talked about the ministry and whatnot. Bro, you got this whole family over here too.
Yeah.
So this whole thing is about the balance. You know what I'm saying? So we want to encourage the folks. God's calling us to something.
Yes.
These are real life stories of what's happening, right? So tell me now, you got beautiful wife. All three boys?
Yeah,
dude. It's so funny. So one of my good friends, Jessica. She's like, "Ain't none of y'all giving me a niece." She's like, "None of us."
Dude, I pray every time. You can't.
Because Todd, 3 boys.
Yeah, boys.
I got the 3 boys. You got the 3 boys. Dude, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So like,
a lot of boys.
Where the girls at? I mean, I guess Natalie and them, but. As far as so
we'll see.
So tell me how's that as far as doing ministry and being there for the kids and your wife and all those different things too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that there's like any simple answer. I definitely can't give like ABC.
I know.
But I mean, we love it honestly. I will say, like, that's been something that I've been learning is, like, just having pretty clear boundaries and stuff where it's like, okay, right now, like, people can't really, I give you permission to interrupt my life most of the time, but, like, here's a few times where it's like, sorry, guys, you can't interrupt my life. And by that, when I say guys, I mean usually, like, students or just people who are not my kids. If your last name isn't Turley, like I'm not talking to you right now. I'm locked in with our group. But I mean, I feel like having some rhythms and stuff, like just rhythms where we're investing with the kids, spending quality time with the kids, and then then knowing the things that they can like be a part of, like we do a lot of stuff at our house right now. We always have like our small group, my small group, Bible study meets at our house with the students. Sundays, like our church right now, we're looking for a venue and we meet at our house. Yeah. So the boys, the kids ministry is in their room.
Yeah, you told me that a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that they literally, you're doing it from your house now.
Yeah.
So how's it with that, like parking and
parking. Listen, I mean, this is a whole thing. This is like a random side of me that's like gone crazy over the last couple of years. It's like urbanism and urban design and stuff, and so I'm like, we live in a neighborhood that's notorious for terrible parking.
Oh yeah.
But I'll take it if parking is bad because we live by like the bus and the red line and you could bike places and stuff. So
I remember y'all were crazy. Y'all were saying y'all might even just get rid of the car.
We'll see. We're thinking about we're more than thinking about it. We have some schemes and plans. We'll see. We'll see. But it's wild. Yeah, parking can be wild. Yeah. But no, we just meet at our house and the boys' room, it's like they have to clean it and the other kids come and all this stuff. And so, but it's cool for them because it's like, for them it's like, this is what we do. You know what I mean? This isn't just what mom and dad do. It's like, this is our mission. It's awesome. Like, we're hosts. Yeah, we want to welcome people into our home to experience the presence of God, the power of God, And like, same with I always have my small group. We meet in the basement and the boys are always like, can I come say hi to the small group guys? And they come. And I always tell the students that like, when they see you, like, you're the coolest person in the world. To, like, these 22, 21-year-old guys, like, they're the coolest people in the world to my sons. And I know because I was a kid. I was the kid. My parents did it. I've experienced it. Wow. And so I tell them, the guys, like, them seeing you, like, open the Bible, them seeing you, like, quitting partying, quitting drinking, quitting doing all these crazy things, and choosing God instead, like, it's such a witness to them. So it's like knowing that, like, there's opportunity. That it's like, yes, there's times where I'm like, hey guys, I love you. I got to go to campus. I have, I'm not going to see you for a few hours or whatever. There's evenings we give up, like almost every Thursday evening. We're giving up, or certain weekends, conferences where we'll be gone. But they know, and now they're getting old enough to where they can come to some of that stuff, and it's like, dude, you're in the presence of God. Like, it's awesome. But knowing that we do make sacrifices, like, where it's like, I'm not going to see you as much as I would, maybe. But they know, it's so people can know, like, the love of God.
Exactly.
And we explain that to them.
Just know that we just have different roles and different seasons in life. And as they grow up, they're going to know that this is just part of the story. Like, you are called to do multiple things for the Lord. Family. And it's this whole thing of balancing and serving people in different ways and stuff, But I
feel like too that we get to, like, I mean, Trish we do Chi Alpha together.
Exactly.
So I'm like,
that's awesome.
We see each other more than, I'm like, what we're doing in ministry allows us to work together. And again, we know sometimes it's like, okay, we're always husband and wife, but like, we're kind of in work mode, and then there's times where it's like, we're not going to talk about ministry. We're going to talk about ourselves and our family.
That's it. Yes.
And honestly, there's a lot of those. We spend lots and lots of time investing in our family. Cause
so beautiful.
It's great.
Yeah, amen.
Why?
Amen.
Who doesn't want to do that?
You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to do that, what's going on? Come on now.
Like, I love our ministry, but I'm like, I love my family way more. Like, no offense. It's like, who am I going to choose? I'm going to choose my family every time.
Yeah. So Loyola students, don't cry about it. It's just,
I love you, but you're lower on the tier list. It's okay. It's all good.
Because pretty much in Luke's life, it's the Lord, Juiette, Trish. Right?
There's something about that. I can't
Something's
put
up
my
a little
finger.
bit. Yeah, we'll fix something.
I'll go for a discernment
discernment series. Okay, so the next thing is, for those who may want to, because this always intrigued me. I love the whole home church feel, church planting, and all those different things. And we see that all through Scripture, obviously. Jesus told the church.
They had to meet in houses.
Yeah, they literally had to meet in houses, and then they were going around and ministering to these different churches. Just the Book of Acts and onward is just so insane, so good. But pretty much, what are some, for this, I feel like there can be steps, ABC essentially. What are some ideas and steps that you may give someone who wants to, like, church plant? Like what kind of goes into it for those who may want to go into ministry in this capacity? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're kind of like, in some ways right now, we're doing a lot of heavy lifting, you could say, but we're not. There is some sort of like ease in the fact that, like, we're not the primary pastors. It's like there's another couple who's the primary pastors. I feel like that just needs to be said, that I'm sharing from this perspective, where it's like we're part of the leadership of the church. We've been around since day one, day zero, day negative 10, and we prayed for this to come to fruition. But I mean, I feel like the people is like the biggest thing, like knowing who you're gonna plant with, and that you like have the, DNA that is shared, is a big thing. For us, like, because we're in the city, there's been a very specific approach that we've taken. It's actually crazy. We've like taken all these steps, and then I like basically was like suggested this book called Next Wave, and it's this guy who does church planting in cities. And I started reading it, and
specifically in cities.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I was like, this is like, so many of the things in the book were the things that we had kind of just because of over time doing ministry, learned and kind of adapted to. So like one of them was like, the timeline, like maybe some church planting training, which is all still good and valid, but will give very kind of strict timelines of like, this is how long you should be meeting with people before you officially launch and all this kind of stuff. But the book was like, switch from like deadlines to like time frames or something like that. Basically like don't follow arbitrary dates, but follow like what makes sense. And that's something that we've done where it's like, yeah, we wanted to be in a venue like 6 months ago or even like a year ago. Yeah. But we've followed a timeline that has been more, because we're not in a rush. Yeah. And our pastors they have jobs. They're able to do this as long as they need to grow it kind of in the way that it needs to be grown, if that makes sense. Rather than just sort of being like, here's the date that we told people, so we got to do whatever we can to fit that date. Is being like, no, we're not in a hurry. We want to still be good stewards and everything, but like we don't want to just frantically move about. We want to like follow God's timing and His pace. That's it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's so good. Yeah, man. Yeah, because I've seen over time I've done that where like I'll stick so much to a date, right? And it's like then as you mature, you're like, no, it's okay if this shifts, because I try to do things just so strictly and on point and stuff. I'm like, no, if this shifts a little bit, it's totally fine. And I think as you continue to progress and go through that, and you see that the last time that happened, that everything turned out okay, you get a little bit more relaxed, a little ease up a bit, and leave things in God's hands. Because this whole thing is so much bigger than us. Yeah. That you don't even know, like, He may need this to wait because that person is going to be there for this date, even though we had this arbitrary date. It's like, just put it in His hands, but continue to do the work. Yeah, for sure. And do it in excellence, and then when it's done, it's done. Don't be slacking. But whenever you still do the work, you plan. You're still supposed to plan, and all of that. So
Well, and that's what I feel like. One thing that we've all, like everyone who's kind of at the core of the church is all like in agreement on and in practice of is like we're all making disciples regardless. Yes. Like, and we have.
No matter where you're at.
Well, yeah, and I feel like this is what, because we've been doing the church planting now for like a year and a half. And then we've been doing campus ministry, pioneering, and like we're tilling like fresh ground, right? Like UIC, Loyola, all this stuff. It's like we're out there doing stuff where like no one's laid a path. There's not like this. There's not this pedigree of ministry that's taking place. I mean, Chicago has some history and stuff, but it's still like a place where we're doing fresh. We're starting something new.
I know. Because how long have you had Chicago Chi Alpha at Loyola specifically? How long has it been now?
Well, I mean, I was there as a student 13 years ago, but as far as like officially recognized, it's only been like 6 years, 7 years or something, because it got delayed for a while. So yeah, it took a few years to get officially recognized at Loyola. Yeah. But I think that sometimes people go into ministry with the mindset of like, I want to start a church or I want to start a ministry, which is good. But I think what they often lack is just the like skill, the habit, the discipline of making disciples, like sharing the gospel, finding like establishing a pattern in your life where you're in regular contact with people who don't know God or know God very little or have very little church experience or have not been discipled, and then discipling those people until they know Jesus, they're close to God, and that like churches ministries flow from that. Not the you know what I'm saying?
That's it. That's exactly it. Yeah.
But we try to do it the other way around.
So let's plant this establishment. And just invite the folks instead of building those relationships. Yeah. Well,
it just doesn't work in places that don't have that cultural habit formed. Like, and more like today, like most people don't. I mean, post COVID especially, it's like people don't have nobody who has no interest in God has interest in church. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So it's like, well, I'm gonna have to disciple you and reach you
first. That's so good. That's so good. And we see that in our Christ anyway. Like everything that He did in that 3-year ministry, that beautiful 3-year ministry, he laid the path for us, and He set the example that God came down to have this relationship with us, to actually meet us where we're at. And that's the same model that we should be. We should get right there with the people, and then help build them up. So you come down to build up and everything like that. So that's what he did, and that's so good. So what I'm hearing is So I'm hearing with like church planting and doing I guess essentially just church planting. The main thing is you want to be discipling folks. You want to be able to build a team around you, because you don't want to be burning out. You don't want to see this all in Scripture. There's always a team. Jesus didn't go out and just be like, I can handle this all by myself because I'm God and man, I can do this. No, he had a whole team of disciples around him. So that's a key component that you want to do. And the whole thing of training and teaching them to have the disciplines. It's discipleship. The whole word in discipleship is disciplines. Yeah. So it's just having people, you help with this. So you actually have to be disciplined and skilled, like you mentioned, in what you're helping in, and it's going to continue to grow. Holy Spirit will help that to grow. People will help it to grow and all of that. So that's so good.
Yeah. And I think just like you got to enjoy the journey, like the whole timeline. We talked a little bit about that. It's like, I mean, I don't know if you feel like to like bring it back around to creative endeavors, right? Yeah. It's like, if you don't enjoy the journey, you should stop. Oh, that's right? That is it. It's like, you gotta like actually doing it, not the finished product.
Exactly. Oh, that's so good.
Because the finished product is not, you can't control it. Yeah. And you definitely can't control how people receive it.
Yeah. And then what that finished product that's in your mind doesn't come for X amount of years or never comes at all.
Yeah.
Is your whole life just like, that was just, it's like you want to enjoy the whole process, like you said.
It's like Jesus obviously found joy in, I mean, they were suffering, and it was hard. He got rejected.
And he had to deal with those knuckleheads.
Yeah. But he clearly loved them, and he loved getting to disciple them, and had it was a joy for him to do that. And so much
to the point where just John 17, bro, his prayer just like, God, unite them. You and I are united, keep them united. He wanted this to continue to be family.
Yeah,
he loved the family dynamic and the connectedness of it. So, he's just awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Man, dude. Okay, cool. So pretty much we always wrap up every episode with like an encouraging word, something that you want to give to the creative and whatever they're doing, whether, again, it's vocational or whether it's just strictly in the arts or whatever. Something that you can share with them to motivate them in their endeavors.
Yeah. This has been one of the biggest lessons that God has reinforced and like dug so deeply into me over the last year and really like couple years, is that it's less the circumstances and the like things happening, and it's the inward journey. It's the meta narrative, and it's like it's like any good movie. It's not what you see; it's the subtext, That's it. And it's like the subtext of my life is like what God is doing in me to refine me, and so I would just say like everything, because we're gonna mess up, we're gonna have failures, we're gonna have roadblocks, or we're gonna have, like you said, like inability to create the thing that we want to create in the way that we want to create it, and for it to turn out exactly how we hope, and all that kind of stuff. And just knowing that it's not about that, that it's like, that is not where the value lies in that, in doing that. It's what God is doing on the inside of your heart. It's like he's drawing you close to him. He's creating a man of integrity. He's creating someone who's resilient. He's creating someone who wants the journey, and who appreciates the journey more than the results. And so for me, that's the thing. Because if you can do that, if it's just about appreciating the inward journey with God, then you can't lose. You like, it's like, I can't be hurt. I can't. Oh, I mean, I can be hurt, but I can't be. I can't lose. Exactly. That's it, Like I'm unbeatable because God has. It's just about what God is doing with me, and no one can take that from me. So
hallelujah. That's so good. Yes. What is that? Is that the Apostle Peter? How he was saying that, like the suffering, the long suffering and the endurance and the strength and all that stuff. All of
produces
these things,
character, produces hope.
Character, hope, and all of this just leads to it's building you up. So we got to look at it from that perspective, and that's why we look so strange as believers, because we have this joy. We have this joy, like you said, it's joy that's incomprehensible. It doesn't make sense that you're going through this. and you still having joy and everything and stuff. You guys
Yeah.
are celebrating at funerals and stuff.
Yeah,
Where
yeah.
someone's like, yo, they're with the Lord now and all of this stuff.
Yeah, somebody ghosted me. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. No, like literally, it's like I love you. God is good.
That's
I'm
good. Yeah, you just smile at all the time.
Yeah. It's like
So
I have
dude,
Jesus, so
yeah.
I'm good.
That's so good. That's the key.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy smokes. Yeah, bro, dude, thank you so much for this. This
Yes.
is awesome,
Yeah.
bro. Yes. So I want you to tell people, how they can connect with you, your campus ministry, how they can support. Luke is a missionary with Chicago Chi Alpha, just like how Creative Encounter people support. You guys want to support Chicago Chi Alpha, specifically Luke and his ministry as well. Tell them how they connect with you.
Probably. I mean, if you're on Instagram, I'm like fairly active these days on Instagram.
Yeah.
I think it's Luke_Turley, Turley.
He's like the only like Luke. You go to well, first of all,
if you're watching this podcast, you probably
First of all, the link is in the description below.
Follow,
but like if you go to my page, put Turley, he'll pop right up. So
yeah, that's probably the best way is to follow me because I post some family stuff. And just random personal stuff, but I post a lot.
Loyola,
you could follow Loyola XA.
Loyola XA, cool.
Yeah, but I post so much from my personal stuff of the ministry we're doing because to me that's what social media. It's like I want to post the kind of work that we're doing and stuff. So that's probably one of the best ways. Yeah,
love it. Nice. Yeah. I love it so much. Also, guys, cool. So again, y'all, this is my guy Luke. It's been 10 plus years, man. We've been homies. It's insane. I love this. But go ahead and follow my guy. And guys, remember, Creative Encounter Podcast is a nonprofit through ACT International. So if you want to support this ministry, become a monthly financial partner. The link is below as well. Love you guys so much. And I'll see you next time for episode 77. Bye.